than this clip. So we've done a little.
I really don't
little bit of magic already. We've created something. Now, it's not very good. It's not very interesting. So we can change that. But all of the magic of building our story happens down here in the timeline. So let's change our story to be a little bit better here. The first thing I want to do is I don't want this black right here. I don't want to watch 6 seconds of black before anything happens. So we can take this and just drag it to the left. And we always want this kind of pushed all the way to the left at the very start of our clip, because then we start with an actual video, right? We can zoom into this timeline by clicking this little plus right here. That's kind of our zoom bar. We can zoom in and out. And I can adjust this middle bar here, and I can move this up and down. And by default, we have a video track and an audio track added here. If I take the bottom edge of this audio track and I drag it down, that'll make these waveforms a little bit bigger. And so we can see a visual representation of what's happening in the audio. So the bigger the spike, the The default we here, then the timeline down here, this is kind of like our plate. So if we want to actually eat something, we're going to put it on our plate. So if we want to add this to our video, I can grab this clip just in the middle. I'm just grabbing it and dragging it down here to our timeline. And that's going to add this clip to our timeline, which is like, putting an apple on our plate. So now we have an active timeline. We have this playhead that goes back and forth. And this is actually going to make the story of our video. Right now, our story is this. If we go all the way to the left and I hit spacebar to play, we have a bunch of black space here. We have an empty space, and then eventually our clip starts. And this is our full clip, not edited. We haven't done anything with this. It's just literally the clip thrown into the timeline. We still have people moving around. We still have the slate, all of that kind of stuff. And so if we were going to export this movie right now, and we were going to put this on YouTube or something, this is exactly what people would see, is 6 seconds of black followed by just this unedited footage that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But we've done something really exciting already. We've put this clip down onto our timeline, which means that we actually have a video in progress now. We could render this out, and it will be a video that's different than this clip. So we've done a little bit of magic already. We've created something. Now, it's not very good. It's not very interesting, so we can change that. But all of the magic of building our story happens down here in the timeline. So let's change our story to be a little bit better here. The first thing I want to do is I don't want this black right here. I don't want to watch 6 seconds of black before anything happens. So we can take this and just drag it to the left. And we always want this kind of pushed all the way to the left at the very start of our clip, because then we start with an actual video, right? We can zoom into this timeline by clicking this little plus right here. That's kind of our zoom bar. We can zoom in and out. And I can adjust this middle bar here, and I can move this up and down. And by default, we have a video track and an audio track added here. If I take the bottom edge of this audio track and I drag it down, that'll make these waveforms a little bit bigger. And so we can see a visual representation of what's happening in the audio. So the bigger the spike, the louder the audio. So we can see where the slate is right here. We zoom in here, we have these little spikes.
15, take 1.
That's where that slate made that spike. And so we're going to start sometime after this.
What was that?
So her saying, what was that? So that's a good place to start this clip. That's where it actually gets interesting. That's the part that we're supposed to show. And so what we can do is we can trim this and kind of cut out all of this part and just start the clip there. The way that we do that is we just mouse over the edge of this, and you'll see how my mouse kind of turns into this left bracket. I can grab this and then just slide this over like this. And I'll have that clip kind of start right there. This is called trimming a clip. So just like you would trim a hedge or something like that, or trim a piece of paper, you kind of cut off all the excess, right? So we're cutting off this first part. Let's play this back. I'll just hit spacebar.
What was that?
Great. I like that. Let's stop right after that. And I'll take the edge of this and drag this over here. And we can see the outline of the full clip. And we're just going to use that little part.
What was that? What was that?
There we go. So now this is a lot shorter, but we have all this black here. So we can take this and slide it all the way to the left, just like that. Okay, I'll zoom in here so we can see what's going on.
What was that?
Great. This, literally what I just showed you, picking a clip here, dragging it down, and then deciding where you want to start that clip. So maybe starting it right here.
Go check it out.
And trimming it to just be that part that you like.
Check it out.
No, you go check it out.
Trimming off all the excess. This is like the bread and butter of editing. This is like 90% of it. You can make so many amazing videos literally with what I just showed you.
One, action.
Go check it out. Go check it out.
No, you go check it out.
Go check it out.
That's all. All you need. That's all you need for so much stuff. We're just bringing those clips in, trimming them, and then putting them here in the timeline. And ideally, there wouldn't be any empty spaces in between them. So we cut from one video
Go check
to
it
the
out.
next video. All right, we're putting these clips together, and that makes a new story. Just like in our example of Bill walking to his car, we're taking all these separate clips and then putting them together here in an order that we like in the timeline, okay? And what's cool is that we have control over this. We can do something like completely cut out the phone call. Bill opens the door, Bill waves to his neighbor, Bill walks to his car, Bill gets in the car. We could cut out this whole first part and just say Bill walks to his car and then Bill gets in the car. We are in complete control of this story, and it's all about where these clips go in the timeline and what order they go in. So this is so great. Let's get our hands dirty here a little bit. Let's make a story. So if we were to go to this second icon here, this source tape, and scrub through this, we can kind of get a good idea of the story here. These kids arrive and they see this crashed UFO. They're a little bit scared about it, so they kind of argue who should go check it out. The girl finally convinces her brother to go and check it out, so he walks towards the UFO. So he walks up to the UFO. They're both really nervous. And then as he walks up there, something moves. Whew. So this is just a few clips from a scene from our movie called Tuesday on Earth. And so what's great is we have all these clips and we can choose to tell this story however we want. So a good way to start.
Oh my goodness. The whole stream and I haven't been talking at all. Oh my goodness. This is why I need you all in the chat, man. What's going on? You all in the chat, man. Yeah, I'm just talking. Oh my. Great video. If you're watching this in the future and you're worried, sorry about the lack of audio in the beginning. That's crazy. Like with everything, there's just always something. So for those who are just joining in and are actually able to listen to me now, so we're working on DaVinci Resolve. Last time we learned how to use the media page. We obviously learned that we can customize what we want to search by. We can add metadata and then search by the specific metadata. You can get as organized as you want or as disorganized as you want, right? And this is actually really useful, especially if you're working both various days or you're taking multiple clips of the same thing to see which one you want and that kind of thing. Obviously, the uses for being organized are infinite, so that's what we worked on. Today, we're working on the edit page, not the cut page. I still don't know what this does, but we're working on the edit page. Supposedly, 90% of what we do as editors is here on the edit page, and the guy just taught us. I mean, obviously the window, this audio for the tutorial was working, just not me. And so the guy taught us that we can double click on the clip. They will show up here on the view page. Here we can scrub if we need to just to make sure it is. If you want to see all the clips, there's this nifty source tape button that just shows everything, and then you can get a general idea of what you were watching. So once it's here, you could drag it directly from here to down here to the edit page, or you can just drag the file from here, whichever you like more, right? Let's delete that, and Control Z. Oh, so I just deleted everything. He didn't teach us that delete. I don't know what's happening. I just cut it in half. So if I put this clip here, it just cuts the other clip in half. Well, I'm just learning. That's a lot of the learning process too. I guess is experimentation, right? So right now, all I wanted to do is delete that. So obviously there's multiple ways to cut it. So you can Control B or the blade tool, and you can make as many fine cuts as you want, right? Back to the tool. But the way he taught us, or he's teaching us, is like, oh, you find the clip you want, then you go here to the end, and then you move it to the side. And then, oh, you found the clip you want, you go here to the end, and you move it back to here. And then what this allows is, so you see how it's not actually gone, right? Well, if I Control B and then delete this is gone, right? I can't. Maybe it isn't. Maybe that's just a thing with DaVinci. So either way, um, it seems that it leaves it. Let's try again. yeah. So the whole clip is always there even if you cut it. I guess since it is dragging it from the file and the file is out there. So this is pretty useful, really convenient. Obviously DaVinci, professional grade. Who would have thought that it would be so awesome? But yeah, so we got that. The biggest thing I like about this is like if you control B and then delete it, it just moves the clip. Sometimes you don't want to move the clip, you just want to edit it and stay there and then move it. So by doing this, you have a little bit more control. And then control B is faster like this. But I mean, even then, I just press 3 buttons, which I also could just move my mouse. So either way, you can do it either way. So that's what we're learning now. Where we got these first two clips, and you're all caught up. So thank you for still joining me. I'll try to make an edit on the videos on the stream for the future. So all the parts I'm not talking are out. I gotta make sure. I gotta make a small checklist. Stream checklist is audio working. Stream checklist is video working. uh, Before I start streaming for the future. So that doesn't happen. Yeah. I can't get too close to the screen either. So the green stuff that you see there is because I do have the green screen in the back, and if I get too close to the camera, it does that or something. I don't know. It is what it is. So don't mind it too much. Thank you. So now let's continue working on learning.
Oftentimes is with a wide shot. And we want the wide shot that shows the first thing, all the really nervous, and then as he walks up there, something moves. Whew. So this is just a few clips from a scene from our movie called Tuesday on Earth. And so what's great is we have all these clips and we can choose to tell this story however we want. So a good way to start, oftentimes, is with a wide shot.
Hello, testing. Wow, my mic is still not working. Hello? 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 Okay, so it's working. Hello? Okay. so I'm back. Let's continue. I got some blueberries and some tangerines.
And we want the wide shot that shows the first thing that happens, right? So we have the kids kind of riding up on their bikes, putting their bikes down. And so let's use that for our first clip. So that's clip 10. I'll just double click on that. That'll switch to our source viewer. I'll grab this and drag this down into our timeline.
So obviously we erase that and start over. Clip 10, double click, and drag it down.
Speed.
Camera. For this first clip, let's scrub through until we're ready, until something interesting starts happening. So right as they kind of get off their bikes, that's probably a good place to trim this beginning.
Scrub through. To me, it would be like nice if they were like the clip started with them rolling in, right, with some B-roll of them arriving, but this is nice. Is there a quick button just to move this to the closest start?
Move this down. Let's play this back. I can hit Control F to play this full screen like this.
Whoa.
Great, that's about all we need right there. And so we could use that and trim it this way. We also have other takes here. And so let's scrub through this and see how this works.
3, 2, 1, action.
And you'll notice now when we scrub through things, the video changes on the right viewer. That's because, again, this is the timeline viewer. This is the preview of what your actual movie is going to be. This is just picking up footage from over here and looking at it. Nothing that happens over here is necessarily going to happen in your video. It's all about this viewer right here, the timeline viewer. If you forget which one is which, just scrub your timeline and see which one moves. We can scrub through this and figure out what we like for our different takes.
Whoa.
Great, I like that. Let's trim the end and let's trim the beginning. Right out.
So they're like to here.
Good. Do that one more time.
After they start moving.
2, 1, action.
Okay, something like that. And move this all the way to the left. So we have our first shot of our movie, them getting off their bikes and walking up. Let's maybe go back into our source tape here, kind of scroll around and try and figure out what we should do next. Again, we're in control of this. That's what's so nice. So they end this shot by kind of standing there like this. So let's cut to them standing together. I think probably this shot right here, shot 31. But this time, instead of dragging this entire clip down here to the timeline and trimming it, we're gonna do a little bit of work before we add it to the timeline. We're gonna do that by setting ins and outs. See, in our source viewer, we're viewing the entire clip, right? The whole thing. And everything that might happen in that clip is not necessarily stuff we wanna keep. Saying action, the actor having to sneeze, Bill waving to the neighbor, Bill waves to the neighbor again, awkward ending and cut. Most of that stuff we don't need. What we really want is Bill waving to the neighbor, right? So what we can do is kind of trim out the extra stuff in the source viewer before we take this and we put it down into the timeline. And so what we'll do is we'll set what's called an in and an out. An in is like the start of the clip that you want, and the out is the end of the clip you want. You can think of this like swimming. When you get in the pool, you start swimming, and when you end swimming, you get out of the pool. So an in is the beginning of your clip, an out is the end of your clip. So we're going to scrub through and try and find the beginning of our clip, which is probably going to be right before he starts talking.
Okay.
And kind of scrub through this, and then let's just play.
Go check it out.
Great. So yeah, we're right about there. And we want that to start there, so we're going to set an in. There's a few ways to do that. One of them is you can click this button right here, which is our set in button, like that.
No, but you.
The other thing you could do would be to hit I on the keyboard, I for in.
Go check it out.
Let's play this back and see what it looks like.
No way, you go check it out.
That's cool. Again, I keep saying this, but that's cool.
Fine. Okay. I'll go check it out.
Good. Now let's end the clip there, and we can either click this set out button or we can hit O for out, just like that. Now we have these little
So clip 31.
Go check it out.
So you want something from here, and then I, and then
Go.
let me delete this part.
Check it out.
No way, you go check it out.
Fine. Okay. I'll go check it out.
And then out there. So can I? Oh, it just drags. It's nice.
gray indicators here. And what that means is that our clip is this long, but we're only going to use this part of the clip. This is what we're actually going to use. And if I click and drag from the middle of this clip down here, we'll see it's much shorter than it would have been. And it's already pre-trimmed. Now, that doesn't mean that we can't change it. We can grab this and we can take the edge of this and trim this. And you can see how big the original clip is with this little gray outline that shows up. It's just like we were to put this down and trim it. We just don't have to move things around in the timeline to do that. We could just kind of trim this beforehand and bring this in. And so what some people will do is go through all their footage and pick the part that they like. They'll kind of do some pre-edits. Like this, I for in. And I can also use the J, K, and L keys on the keyboard as these buttons right here. J plays backwards, K starts and stops, and L plays forwards. So you can kind of move things back and forth with J, K, and L.
Go check it out.
No, you go check it out.
Fine. Okay. I'll go check it out.
Good. That looks good. I'll hit O for out. And I've just grabbed the part that I want, and I can drag it down into the timeline, just like that. And so a great way to start getting things here on the timeline is just to go through all of your clips and pick the parts you like.
Go check it out.
No.
Wait, how did he do the 2-speed? That wasn't just me. I saw him 2-speed that. So he could watch the clip faster. Especially if you know what you're looking for already, like he probably does. First, what other clip did he just take?
Go check it out. Fine. Okay. I'll go check it out.
Okay.
Ooh, you go.
I gotta
Check it out.
back to there.
Good. That looks good. I'll hit O for out.
Go check it out. Go check it out.
I think he's on the 34 clip now.
Go check it out.
So that's where I want my.
Go check it out.
No, you go check it out.
Fine. Okay. I'll go check it out.
That's where I want my out, right? Oh, well, maybe do her a little bit of a service. Can I just move? Yeah, I can just move that out.
No, you go check it out.
Fine. Okay. I'll go check it out.
Good. That looks good. I'll hit O for out. And I've just grabbed the part that I want and I can drag it down into the timeline, just like that. And so a great way to start getting things here on the timeline is just to go through all of your clips and pick the parts you like.
Go check it out.
No, you go check it out.
Fine.
35. How does he speed up? Oh well, look, I found a button. It does it manually. I'm pretty sure he had pressed something on the. What are they waiting for?
Work for me, Smoke. Come on, work it.
Oh, they're waiting for the smoke. So they recorded the whole smoke area?
2, 1, action.
Go check. Go check it out.
No, you go check it out.
Fine.
Reset. We don't want you to move too much.
Right.
Back up a little bit.
Get out.
Go check it out. Go check it out.
No, you go check it out.
Fine. Okay. I'll go check it out.
Alright, so that's what I want my clip to be.
No way, you go check it.
Reset. We don't want you to move too much.
Right.
Okay. Needs to back up a little bit. So we're going to use the second take. I can scrub through this faster by hitting L twice. That's going to go through this at 2x speed. And then I can hit K to stop, and then L to play back normal speed.
Go check it out. Right.
J to kind of reverse. I for in.
Go check it out.
No, you go check it out.
Fine.
And again, I can just drag this down. So you can do this for all of your footage. And a good way to do this is just kind of throw all the footage into a timeline. And then remember, you can always move things around, change the order, and play around with things. And you can always trim it more or less. You really can't ruin it too badly. And so this is the fun part about editing, is creating this story. So let's just maybe cut to this second shot here. And I'll just trim this back a little bit to where they're kind of just looking dumb at this thing. And we'll cut from this wide shot into this close up like this.
Whoa.
Action.
We got to cut out that action though.
Whoa.
Go check it out.
No way, you go check it out.
Fine. Okay. I'll go check it out.
Great. So we have the basic actions happening where they come up, they see something, they start arguing, and eventually the guy starts walking towards the craft. But we want to show this in a more creative way. And so we actually have these other shots that we can cut in between them and make it look a little bit more interesting. So for instance, when the girl's talking, we want to see the girl's face a little bit closer. So let's see if this take works.
Go check it out.
No, you go check it out.
And I like that little, wait, what? Like this right here. So let's trim that. And let's see if we can put this in there somewhere right after he says, go check it out.
Go check it out.
Right there. That's probably a good place to cut. Now, we haven't done this yet, but we have this clip, and this shouldn't go before or after. It should go right in the middle here. So what we can do is we can split this clip a couple of different ways. One way we could do it would be to go and click on this little icon here, this little razor blade, and that's going to turn our mouse into a razor blade tool. And whenever we click on this clip, that's going to split the clip right there wherever we click. So we can just chop this up if we want to. I'll hit Control Z a few times to undo that. What I like to do is figure out where I want to cut by moving this playhead back and forth, and then use a keyboard shortcut to split it. The default keyboard shortcut for Resolve is Control \. That's the backslash that's right above Enter, like the return key kind of in the middle of the keyboard. If you hit that, that will split this clip right where that playhead is. And then you can move the clips around and put this clip here in between them, like this.
I use Control B, but let's do what he just did, right? So we obviously got the first clip, right? They arrive. So now we know. Let's try this first. Oh.
Rolling.
Yeah, 2 speed. Yo, you don't know how good that is. 2 speed, just like easily like that. K for stopping, J for backwards, K for stopping, and then L1 is for 8 speed, 16, 32. Oh my goodness. that brings some bliss to my soul. In CapCut, when I used to make or try to make some videos on CapCut, some older ones on the channel that I obviously unlisted, I had to like fast forward, make them fast forward, then watch it fast forward, then clip it, then put it back to normal. This is awesome. We can do it all here in the view screen. We can put it in and out, so like do the cuts and then just move it, and it's already nicely done. And then we have the audio here, so that's awesome. Okay, one thing done.
Rolling.
Now we want them here, and then this is the second clip, right? That.
Go check it out.
Maybe I want a little bit more space. That's the cool thing, right? Right.
Go check it out.
Did you guys see the boom mic? I'm guessing you'll teach us how to fix that later. The boom mic is right there.
No way, you go check it out.
So I want it around here where her face is changing. So I'm gonna Control B. I don't know what I just did. So Control. Control B. Then I want to move this clip here, and we obviously want her face.
Go check it out.
Um,
Metadata. Right there. Let's see if I did that right. Alright, so whatever just happened, it's super trimmed. This. So if I just place, let's just do that. Put it on the top.
no, you go check it out.
So we probably want it,
Fine.
since it's a close up of her face, that's where we probably want to end it. I'm gonna make the preemptive cut, but
So now let's see what this looks like.
Go check it out.
No, you go check it out.
See how that kind of works?
Fine.
Now, we want to see him say fine, and so really this is kind of the same process. So we split it right there, Control /, and we might not use the rest of this, but we'll just bring it down there kind of out of the way for now. Have him saying fine. Let's see, where's another one? There we go, him saying fine.
let's go find him saying fine.
Go check it out.
No, you go check it out.
So I want it from here, where he looks. So I guess since I'm not using that footage, I'm just gonna put it like that. That way it moves up. Let's see. Let's see.
Go check it out.
Fine.
Yeah, yo.
Okay.
This is dope. So like I would want it there since he started walking. And then
Go check it out.
Fine. Okay.
and then Control V. Let's see what that looks like.
Okay. Oh, go check it out.
Yeah, we got a whole clip. That's dope.
No
I
way,
don't know how I'm
you
gonna
go
make
check
that
it
happen
out.
with only one iPhone, but
Fine.
No, you go check it out.
Right there, I like that. Let's trim that here. Bring this in like this.
Go check it out.
yo, Juicy, Juicebug.
Fine.
I see you, bro.
Great.
Are you still here?
So he says fine here.
Fine.
Sorry, bro. I didn't look at the chat.
Let's trim this. Put this in order. So now we're putting clips in the order for...
I was eating some blueberries, bro. I don't know if you're still here. It says you probably left. When was this? Does it tell me the time? Oh, you're still here, Juicy. What's up, bro? I'm chilling. I was eating some tangerines, some blueberries, you know, getting that healthy focus, and you know, just working on the edits, bro. Like I said, I was. Thank you for joining me. Well, what are you up to? Let's chat here a little. I'm gonna have a Discord in the future. There is some delay with the stream, so I'm seeing the settings for it to see how much delay my internet can handle. And it seems like I might not need too much delay at all. Yo, that's congratulations, bro. I'm passing your class. Let me move my phone a little. I should definitely have this phone in the middle of like this, so I can see the chat. But yeah, congratulations, bro. You passed, so you're on your phone. You're just chilling. Well, I'm doing the same, just learning how to edit. Did you see? I mean, for NOOB, dude, this clip looks pretty cool, right? You start.
Go check it out.
No, you go check it out.
Fine.
Fine.
Okay. Oh, go check it out.
Thank you, bro. So hopefully I can do that with my own clips. And this is really fun. It looks, it doesn't, well, it looks as fun as it is, you know. So I recommend it, that if you want to do the same thing, this guy is pretty thorough. I mean, I'm only 49 minutes in. He's been explaining a lot of things, taking the notes. So it's pretty good. And thank you for sticking around however long you do. Just I'm gonna continue working on this now, bro. If you got any suggestions or anything you wanna say, just put in the chat. I'm paying more attention to it. I was locked in the editing, but I'll pay more attention to the chat. Yeah, bro. I'm not just doing it for YouTube, bro. Like, I'm doing it because it's a skill. It's a highly paid skill, bro. Like, just YouTube editing in general. Like, if let's say you don't want to do YouTube, you just want to do editing for people, you could like put an ad on Fiverr, and people can hire you to create 10-minute, 5-minute, even reels. Like, and it would to take you an hour. You could charge $25, $50, $60 for what would take you an hour of work, and that's probably what I'm gonna do in the beginning here to gain experience editing, while also editing the vlogs I make every once in a while. Yeah. But whatever, bro. Thank you for showing up. I'm gonna continue this.
For the story, but we're also choosing clips that show the story the very best. This is where it starts to get really fun.
Go check it out.
No, you go check it out.
Fine. Okay. I'll go check it out.
Great. So we'll maybe cut right there. And now we have a sequence of a few different shots that really start to tell our story. And then it's up to you as the editor to go in and think about, okay, how fast should one clip cut to another clip?
Go check it out.
So he kind of pushes her. I feel like this should happen a little bit quicker. Go to that other shot. Anytime that you cut in between one shot and another, you can decide to show more or less time. And so you can kind of control time a little bit. This is the one part of the world where you can control time. That's what's really neat.
No, you go check it out.
Good. Let's cut that a little bit tighter too. Move this down.
Fine. Okay.
You'll notice how this cut works really well.
Fine.
The reason for that is because he starts to turn his head back in this shot, and he finishes turning his head on this shot. This is called cutting on action. That means that there's one action that happens in one shot that's continued in the other shot. And so our mind accepts the little differences in between the shots, and it makes it feel like they're continuous. Just like I start waving my hand in this shot, and then we cut to this shot, it feels like it's continuous, right? And that's because it is. I mean, this is kind of recorded live, but that's what really helps.
Fine.
Is that little tiny movement. And so looking for those opportunities to make those cuts a little bit easier. For instance, when he pushes her, she kind of moves a little bit. Maybe this happens in this shot too. Does he push her? Yeah, she moves forward a little bit.
So let me go try to do that. Okay, so cutting on action is when you split the scene, when then there's something moving, right? So, and then our mind accepts it as, instead of a big transition, like a cut, like a random cut, accepts it more as a smooth, oh, this is natural, which is looking at different thing right now. So that's what I gotta do now. So I'm gonna not delete these, but just move them to the side a little so they don't bother. And then I want to, first, this one, right? I think this is fine, maybe. Let's see. I think I cut it this one too soon because the guy was still moving. So I want him to stop moving, maybe there. Yeah, and then when this one starts, you see, it's like the little things, like who would have thought, like it seems like extra work now that we've got to go back, but if you're doing it with the intention of doing it in the first place, it'll be like seamless. But I guess that's what the tutorials are for. You learn little by little. Okay, so, and here, like, I definitely want to go back a little. how much back though? So here they just stop. Maybe I want a little bit more of them stopping. Not too much more, just like there. And then, oh, nice. I can double click this and it'll show up here, so I can just scrub here where I want it.
3, 2, 1.
So he does say action like right there, so there's not much space to scrub back on this one. So we'll check it out. She moves.
Go check it out.
So now we got this clip. Let's double click it.
No.
Alright, so she moves, right? With
Hi guys, go check it out. Hi.
So I want the in there. Oh look, I press I to the in and it automatically moves it down here. That's dope.
No, you.
Let's see how that looks now.
I gotta go check it out.
No.
No, still too little. No movement at all. Oh wait, because it started there.
Hi, go check it out.
Let's see how that looks. Yeah, so there's the little movement I wanted.
No, you go check it out.
Okay, so there's her pushing him. So now we double click here. Right, so it's here.
What? No, you go check it out.
So not much, but that's the slight movement right there of her pushing her.
Out. What? No, you go check it out.
So I did get the push. It's fine. He looks at her.
Fine. Okay.
So he's moving. And then this final clip. Let's see.
Yeah, fine. Okay.
Right there. Maybe slightly back.
Okay. Okay. I'll go check it out.
I don't know if it's as good as the guy, but that's the best I could do.
So maybe as she moves forward just a touch, maybe that'll work a little better. I can select this empty part and hit delete, and that's going to get rid of that gap. See how there's like that little movement? She's moving forward, kind of moving forward a little bit there too. That might be a good cut. It might just take too long. We don't want to do that. We'll see.
Which one are you talking about? It feels like the first clip when he pushes her, she kind of finishes moving, then it cuts to her moving again, kind of throws it a bit off. I think you should check it off. So the first clip. All right, the second one.
Go check it out.
I can see what you mean. So let's just press it again. And maybe here. Yeah.
Shout.
Oh, oops. Just move clips, move. Is that better?
No.
Yeah, because she's spinning. That's better. It's the slight little things, bro. I hope he teaches us transitions. I mean, maybe this is all the transitions there is. Because I've seen videos and it just feels smoother to them. I don't know. Check it out. I think you should check it out. How many times have I said check it out? I heard check it out like in the last couple minutes.
But that's all up to you. Now, a couple other things about adding clips. Let's go through here and let's add this shot right here, shot 24. This is what we would call their POV, sort of. It's actually an over-the-shoulder shot, but it's what they see. And so anytime that you're editing, especially when somebody's looking off screen and they have some kind of reaction, just like what's happening here, where they're walking towards and they go, whoa, then that sparks a question in the viewer's mind. What are they looking at? And so a lot of the time, it's a good idea to show what they're looking at in the next shot. Now, the next shot in the timeline right here is actually them standing. And it's sort of a problem because they're actually standing farther apart here than they are in this shot. And that's something you'll probably notice. Like, it looks weird. So we can kind of feed two birds with one stone here. We can answer the question, what are they looking at off screen? And we can bridge this gap to not be distracting by adding this shot in here. A couple ways that we could do this would be to zoom out, select all of our shots to the right and move it down so that we have some space to put this shot, and we can drag this shot in here. And we can set the in and the out on this shot and we can drag it in here like that, and then kind of delete the gaps, and that would work. What's a little bit faster is to put our playhead right on that edge. You can tell it to snap to the edges by clicking this button right here. If this magnet is white, it'll kind of snap to the edges like this. If it's not, then it won't really snap. You can kind of put this wherever you want. But I like to have snap. Snapping on for this kind of thing. Put this right on that edit, that edge in between the two clips. And what we can do is click one of these buttons right here. These are our edit buttons. This one is insert clip. And what we'll do is we can set an in and an out, like the beginning and the end of this clip, something like that. And we can hit this insert button and look what happens. When I click this, it inserts.
We got the insert clip button. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. So if people are looking away at something, we ask a question, or what's going on, and then you can actually direct the scene to look at whatever. They could have been looking at, I don't know, the sky, for all that it matters. But that's pretty cool. There's a bunch of times where we react to something, and we're just looking. So I actually just draw like the icon on my notes, so I know what to look for in the future. I do forget what anything is, you know. Insert clip button. So let's go do that. Let's go find the clip 24. And let's scrub through it.
Very good.
I gotta move the red one. I moved the bottom one, and that's the bottom one is the edit one. So now you wanna, the magnet is on, no wonder. But we wanna insert clip here. Nice. Let's see what that looks like.
Whoa.
I can hear some sound there, so I definitely wanna cut this a little bit. All right.
It's this clip right where that playhead was, and it moves all the other clips this way down the timeline. So if I hit Control Z, we can kind of see what happens. Control Shift Z to redo it. It's just putting that clip in there. So now we have in our story, they show up and say, whoa. And then we see what they see. Ooh, yeah, baby. That looks good. And now we've forgotten how far apart they were in that first shot. And so now we cut here and nobody cares. Works great.
Go check it out.
That's
Oh, go check it out.
great. Out on this shot, and we can drag it in here like that, and then kind of delete the gaps, and that would work. What's a little bit faster is to put our playhead right on that edge. You can tell it to snap to the edges by clicking this button right here. If this magnet is white, it'll kind of snap to the edges like this. If it's not, then it won't really snap. You can kind of put this wherever you want. But I like to have snapping on for this kind of thing. Put this right on that edit, that edge in between the two clips. And what we can do is click one of these buttons right here. Insert clip. And what we'll do is we can set an in and an out, like the beginning and the end of this clip, something like that. And we can hit this insert button and look what happens. When I click this.
So he chose different times, which actually makes sense. J to go back. He chose when they were going up. So probably not there. A little bit under the shoulder for me. And just there for me, I guess. And then erase this space. Hopefully it didn't mess anything else up. It definitely messed something up. Yeah, the order of which these two go. So move this here, move this here, move this back, move it back.
Go.
No, what am I doing? Okay, it is like this. Okay, they arrive. What? Why is this arriving? What? What did I do? I guess my arriving clip got shortened. I don't know how that happens, but whatever. So now we gotta fix this again. Just a little bit under the shoulder. Oh, it did. Under the shoulder. And pressing the timeline. So they arrive.
Whoa.
Then I just want to end it here. Or maybe a little bit more. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, the movement of his head actually messes it up because the next clip is not moving the head. It's like the reverse of cutting an action. Is if like there's no action in the next clip, there was an action in the first one, it just looks weird. Yo, thank you for sticking around, bro. I know we're just working here on the edits, but your support of just coming and by the channel, I appreciate it, bro. Have a good day. Peace out to you, and much love. Dale, bro. Take care, and stay safe and have fun.
Go check it out.
It inserts this clip right where that playhead was, and it moves all the other clips this way down the timeline. So if I hit Control Z, we can kind of see what happens. Control Shift Z to redo it. It's just putting that clip in there. So now we have in our story, they show up and say, whoa. And then we see what they see. Ooh, yeah, baby. That looks good. And now we've forgotten how far apart they were in that first shot. And so now we cut here and nobody cares. Works great.
Go check it out.
That's how we build a story here in the edit page. So cool. And this basic process works for any kind of video you're making, whether you're making a film like this or whether you're just doing a YouTube video, documentary, commercial. It's all about finding the clips you want, setting the in and out, and putting it on the timeline in some way. Whether it's dragging it to the timeline or whether it's using an edit button like this insert. There's also a couple other edit modes. For instance, overwrite, which just kind of pastes this over everything. There's replace, which will swap out the clip here for the clip that we're over here in the timeline. And you can click and drag here and drag this viewer onto this viewer, and you have a few more options too. For instance, place on top puts that clip on top and on the next layer. We're always going to be looking at the top layer in our viewer,
Check it.
but we can decide to turn this off and move this around without overwriting this clip. One handy edit button here would be append at end. If you drop it on this append at end, it's going to throw this clip, whatever we have selected here, at the end of our timeline, which is great if you're just kind of gathering the clips that you want. You can just double click, set your in and out, okay? Drag it over here, append at end. You don't have to worry about where you are in your story. You can just kind of go through here, pick the parts you like, append at end. You don't really have to worry about it. Great, append at end. And you can throw those all in the timeline, and then you can move them around and adjust them and trim them and split them and all the stuff that you need to do. So if you want to get really used to how the
So append and end. Where is it? Oh, is it here? Metadata mixer quick export. So okay, where was he clicking?
the edit page. You don't have to worry about where you are in your story. You can just here would be append at end. If you drop it on this append at end, it's
Is he clicking here? Here? Inspector. Where is he clicking?
going to it. So cool. And this basic process works for any kind of video you're making, whether you're making a film like this or whether you're just doing a YouTube video, documentary, commercial. It's all about finding the clips you want, setting the in and out, and putting it on the timeline in some way. Whether it's dragging it to the timeline or whether it's using an edit button like this insert. There's also a couple other edit modes. For instance, overwrite, which just kind of pastes this over everything. There's replace, which will swap out the clip here for the clip that we're over here in the timeline. And you can click and drag here and drag this viewer onto this viewer, and you have a few more options too.
Oh, you grab this viewer to this viewer. Let's press that clip. Oh. Ripple overwrite, appended to end. But what does he press to send it to the end? It says it's sending it to the end. But did it send it to the end? Is this the clip I'm looking at? Oh, okay. So let's say I already found the in and out, and I just want to send it to the end. I can fit to fill, replace, overwrite, or place to the top. What does this do? Oh, it places to the top of where the red cursor is. Or at the end. Or append and end. Since I already pressed append and end, ripple overwrite. What does that even mean? Append and end. Append and end just sends it to the back. But how do I remove append and end?
For instance, place on top, puts that clip on top and on the next layer. We're always going to be looking at the top layer in our viewer,
Check it.
but we can decide to turn this off and move this around without overwriting this clip.
So we would press the clip, disable. So we could just disable, enable, disable. Disable sync lock. Audio 2, audio 1. That's cool. And obviously control out, control zoom in.
Handy edit button here would be append at end. If you drop it on this append at end, it's going to throw this clip, whatever we have selected here, at the end of our timeline, which is great if you're just kind of gathering the clips that you want. You can just double click, set your in and out, okay? Drag it over here, append at end. You don't have to worry about where you are in your story. You can just kind of go through here, pick the parts you like, append at end. You don't really have to worry about it. Great, append at end. And you can throw those all in the timeline, and then you can move them around and adjust them and trim them and split them and all the stuff that you need to do. So if you want to get really used to how the edit page works, I would highly recommend grabbing this footage, dragging it down into the timeline, and just trying to make a story out of these clips. Now, a couple quick tips that I think are pretty helpful for actually putting together a story here is I like to use what I call the anchor technique. This is something that we go into a little bit more in our end-to-end editing course, which I'll tell you more about in a little while. But the big idea here is that you start with one shot where multiple things are happening. So we have this wide shot of him walking towards the craft. We have her kind of looking around. And so we can kind of start with this as our anchor for this part of the edit. And then we can use these other shots to enhance it. So we have her kind of looking back and forth right here. We also have this shot of her kind of looking as he walks forward. We have the shot of her looking back and forth right here. And so we can take this shot and we'll just kind of trim this. And we can drag this up to a new track and kind of put this over our shot like this. So we have our wide shot here, and then we have the close up here. And we can kind of move this back and forth without overwriting this just because it's in that top layer. And we can kind of just play around with this until we feel like it works. Maybe we want to cut to a close-up of him, which we have right here. Yeah, maybe this one. Sure. And again, we'll just drag that up like this. Maybe we'll just cut to this first and then cut to her. So we have him walking forward.
So let's do that. I'm gonna leave this part intact since we worked on it. I'm gonna delete all these other clips. Then I wanna find the clip. So maybe we use this, right? No. Hey, look, this is pretty useful. This view is pretty useful. Shows the audio here and the scenes picture. And you can automatically scroll. This view is pretty useful. So we want this one. So let's put it here somewhere. This is our anchor shot probably. Just gonna anchor stuff like this. Just unzoom here. That way we know we have more space to work with. This is gonna be our anchor shot. And this is one of the clips we're gonna use. This clip is she looking back and forth. There's another clip we're gonna use. Put them a little bit closer. I think that's all that this guy was working with. Oh, I just switched views. Okay. Back to edit. So first we want, let's move this a little closer. So we got the guy walking.
Oh.
Well, we can just edit it here.
Rolling everything. All right, rolling. Okay. Down, Sarah. Let's get the right there. Pump going.
Scene 4, shot 11, take 2.
And 3, 2, 1, action.
That's where we want the in. He's walking over. And then we see her moving in the background so we can. So we actually want to do the, what was called? The cutting on action. So we see her going to the left here, at least my left, probably her right. So with this clip,
What was that?
this clip is way bigger. What?
Also the other way. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
So I want her going to the, goes up and down, and they did this, she goes right. From here, maybe? Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's alright. A little wobbly there. Maybe a little less. No, a little bit more. It was right the first time. It was right the first time. Yeah, it was right. And then we want the O there. back to this. So we want this guy walking forward. It's him probably somewhere up here. So we get triple layer, so while editing.
Rolling.
Oh wait, why is it okay?
Rolling.
Scene 4, shot 12, take 3.
Okay, so there, Control B, delete this clip. Of course, it deleted the bottom stuff. That's why just dragging it is better, honestly. So in the bottom clip, we have so now I actually want this clip again, which is 20. Can I just see 20? Can I get another copy of this? Yeah, I can. So I want that back reaction. Probably start there. Gotta shorten this one just to that. I made it too long. That's all I want for this one. He looks back. So now we got these short up. He's looking, he's walking, he's over there looking, he's looking, back to him walking. Just like, nope, it will not move slightly. Maybe if I zoom in. how that looks. Nah. I think with the anchor clip, I'm not supposed to edit the bottom part. Just find something. Yeah, that works. Can't be a perfectionist either.
And we can kind of mix these in however we want to make this scene not only have all of the actions that happen in the scene, but also make it look exciting and have a bunch of dynamic shots, right? And we can choose whether to use shots or not. I mean, we have this shot right here, which I really like. Her kind of thinking things over a little bit.
Check it out.
We could decide to put this right here if we want to. But we're using the shots that are already here down in the timeline to figure out where to put our other shots. So that's the anchor technique. Now for a couple of shortcuts. These are really, really important. Let's go ahead and put this right here. And let's say I want to trim this about this much. I can do that with my normal selection mode, my normal tool here, which is activated right here in the toolbar. Or I can use the trim mode. That's this one right here. And what this does is it does similar things, but if I grab the edge like this and I bring it this way, it actually kind of sucks the clips down. And so I can grab the edge here and I can trim this, but it doesn't leave a gap. And so it's just a little bit quicker way to trim things. It's the exact same thing as trimming this with our normal selection mode, selecting this emptiness and moving it down like that. It just does this all in one little thing.
So the little edge tool, trims without leaving a gap. Cool.
The other thing this tool will do, this trim tool, is if you click and drag in the middle of a clip towards the top, what this will do is slip this clip. And that means that it's going to keep the same in and out, but it's going to use a different part of the clip. And so if I want to move it down like this and use this part,
Just what happened?
then that works. I can also slide the clip if I click and drag in the middle towards kind of the bottom of the clip like this. And that moves this back and forth, and it kind of trims the other clips around it. And this makes more sense if we have these all on one line. I'll just drop these in real quick. If I'm in the trim mode here and I grab this lower part, I can move this back and forth and it trims the other clips there with it. So I can trim the other clips, or I can move this kind of clip back and forth. And so this is a nice way, if you don't quite have your clip settled in just right, you can use the trim tools to really kind of move things back and forth. And so it really, really helps, especially if you're trying to make an edit just right. And when you grab this and you move it back and forth, it shows this multiple view. And so we have the first frame and the last frame of this clip. Then we have the last frame of this clip and the first frame of this clip. And so you can see all of the transition points all on one view here. So trim tool is really useful, especially if you're trying to edit
What was that? I was writing a note.
of this clip. Then that works. I can also slide the clip if I click and drag in the middle towards kind of the bottom of the clip like this. And that moves this back and forth, and it kind of trims the other clips around it. And this makes more sense if we have these all on one line. I'll just drop these in real quick. If I'm in the trim mode here and I grab this lower part, I can move this back and forth and it trims the other clips there with it. So I can trim the other clips, or I can move this kind of clip back and forth. And so this is a nice way, if you don't quite have your clip settled in just right, you can use the trim tools to really kind of move things back and forth. And so it really, really helps, especially if you're trying to make an edit just right. And when you grab this and you move it back and forth, it shows this multiple view. And so we have the first frame and the last frame of
First frame, last frame.
this clip. Then we have the last frame of this clip and the first frame of this clip. And so you can see all of the transition points all on one view here. So trim tool is really useful, especially if you're trying to edit a little bit quicker. And speaking of editing quicker, keyboard shortcuts are very, very important. You can hit T to select your trim tool and A for your normal selection mode. Remember, A just kind of moves things around like this, overwrites things, but T will do the slip and slide and that kind of thing. You can hit B to go to your blade tool to chop this up however much you want. But again, I would highly recommend learning the keyboard shortcut just to split this at the playhead. Control backslash like that, because that's a nice way to do that. The other major keyboard shortcut I'd highly recommend learning is the ripple trim shortcut. Let's say I want to chop this part of the clip off, either by doing this and then deleting it and moving it down, or I could use the trim tool and move it down like this. Well, I can do that with a keyboard shortcut by aiming my playhead right where I want the clip to start and hitting Control-Shift left bracket. That's going to do all of that all at once. It's just going to trim this and ripple everything down this way. Ripple is the fancy word for moving clips down so that there's no gaps. And so we can ripple trim, Control-Shift left bracket for the beginning, and then if we want to trim the end, Control-Shift right bracket, like that. Now, you may notice that both Control backslash and Control-Shift left and right bracket take two hands on the keyboard. And so if you have one hand on the mouse, it's kind of awkward to remove your hand from the mouse and then hit a keyboard shortcut. It's slightly faster, actually, to probably just grab it with the mouse. And so to actually save time, I'd highly recommend customizing your keyboard shortcuts. So how do you do that? Up here in our DaVinci Resolve menu, we can go down to Keyboard Customization. And this is a whole big panel dedicated to keyboard shortcuts. And all you have to do is click on whatever modifiers you want and then whatever you would press after that modifier. So Control-Shift left bracket. And this will show you the command. So this is Start to Playhead. If I click on this, that'll open up Start to Playhead right here. And if you want, you can change the keyboard shortcut for this. So I have mine set to Q for Start to Playhead and W for End to Playhead. Let me kind of walk you through this because it's kind of annoying. So I'm going to switch back to my DaVinci Resolve shortcuts here. By the way, they have presets for shortcuts that are kind of like Adobe Premiere Pro and Apple Final Cut, Avid, Pro Tools. What I usually do is I set this to DaVinci Resolve and I'll do this. This Control-Shift left bracket, this is Start to Playhead. If I click on this command right here, that'll bring that up right here. If I click on this little plus, that will make a little box here and I can type whatever keyboard shortcut I want. So Start to Playhead, I'm gonna select as Q. Great. Now it's gonna come up and say Q is already assigned to something, which is fine with me because I'm never gonna use this view source timeline viewer. You might use it, but I'm not going to. So whatever you assign to it, it's gonna tell you if that's already a keyboard shortcut. So I'm just gonna say assign. Now, it gives you a little warning here. The reason there's a warning is because neither of these keyboard shortcuts are gonna work anymore because one keyboard shortcut is assigned to two things, which you would think it would just do both things, but it actually does neither. So I'm gonna go out of here, go back to my just vanilla keyboard here and click on Q. Then it's going to list all the commands that are under Q. So we have start to playhead, which is what I want, and then source timeline view. Let's click on source timeline view here, and let's just get rid of the Q shortcut right there. Great. We're going to do the same thing with W. So let's go ahead and open up W, dynamic trim mode. Let's take that off, okay? And then we're going to look up Control-Shift-Right bracket, which is end to playhead. Let's make this W. Great. So now we have Q and W set to start and end to playhead. The other thing that I like to do is set this S key to split clip, which is Control / split clips right here. So I'm going to actually set this to S. It's going to say, hey, S is already something. I'll say, okay, assign. Then let's go back to S and take away toggle slips.
But there's Control / on this side, and you don't need both hands. I actually don't like doing that, changing the shortcuts from what is used to, like I'd rather just use what's used. I mean, for that one specifically, it might be cool, but like he said, like, are you really saving time if you move the finger? Maybe not. But all these changes, let's say I would have to do them again on a laptop if I'm editing on any other software or whatever, then I have to like redo the shortcuts. Overall, I think it's just better to use the default. Most of the time, the default is good enough. But you could obviously do this, and it'll obviously save you time because it's better. So yeah, for now I'm gonna leave that as is, but I will consider it. Custom cuts. He uses Q, but I mean I know what he's talking about and stuff, but I haven't like really processed or internalized what all he's saying at this point because I'm not used to using these tools or software as much as he is. But this is definitely something you should do to speed up your process, learn your keyboard shortcuts, and obviously with one hand. But I can do that one. Control Shift / I mean, unless it doesn't allow me to use the Control Shift on the right side and only the Control Shift on the left side with one hand. So, like I said, maybe he was just thinking about the Control Shift on the right hand and then not being able to, I mean on the left side and not being able to move to the right side. But Control Shift on this side is possible, right? It'll be what it'll be. Well, guys, I think I'm done here for today. I'm gonna go have lunch.
You're really the only.
If I come back to streaming, because I want to do more, you'll see me later. If not, thank you for joining me. Or if you're watching this in the future because you want to watch the live stream, I was gonna edit this down and make a video, but I think me learning how to edit isn't watchable content, and I might just spend time clipping stuff that it's already there. Honestly, streaming is fun in itself, and not all things need to be a video. Um, but again, if you want to join the process, I highly recommend this video. We're an hour in out of 5 hours, and only 2 streaming sessions. And as you can see, we're learning a lot. I'm learning a lot here, and if you do watch in the future, I appreciate it. I took my notes, so next time before starting, I'm just gonna review real quick and capitalize, do a review of what we're doing, and we'll continue with the edits. Thank you for joining me. I wish you a blessed day, and may Jehovah God bless your future. May you have an opulent and harmonious one. See ya.